What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Emphasis on Sports. I'm your host, Damon Anthony, as usual. We're just going to kick it about sports. A lot of NFL talk, but we do sprinkle in some other things. You know, the sports world is kind of huge. I'm just a huge football fan, so definitely talk about that more than anything. If you're new, like and subscribe. And now you can check us out on Spotify and Apple Music. Just search for Emphasis on Sports. You'll find us. A couple episodes there. We don't have the complete backlog up there yet, but we're there. We're just trying to keep it pushing, just trying to talk sports. You know what I mean? Nothing major, nothing over the top. Let's dig in. All right, so yesterday, week 2, full Sunday slate. And I'm talking full Sunday slate. It was real cool. Kind of football overload a little bit. Sitting down, had a couple TVs going like I do with the man cave. But you know, you have the package, you got YouTube TV, got multi-view. So I'm sitting there, got the Niners game in the middle, 4 games over here, 4 games over there. I don't know what my eyes are going to do. I'm all over the place, right? But it was real sweet. It was real cool. Let's dig into some of these games. First and foremost, 49ers suffered their first loss of the season at the hands of the Minnesota Vikings, 23-17. So as part of what I do, man, I got to keep it unbiased, especially when talking about the team. Minnesota came out, punched the 49ers, punched us right in the mouth, and did what they had to do. Can't really say, you know, too much. It's not about what we did or what we didn't do. They came out and played a hell of a game. They came out and they blocked that punt. They made our special teams look a little piss poor. We did have an interesting pick that Brock Purdy threw, probably got tipped by 3 different people. But you know what? They stayed focused. They got the pick. They put up stops when they needed to. Some questionable play calling, especially down around the goal line. I don't know what they were trying to do, that backwards pass to Debo so he could run it in for a touchdown. Didn't work out for us at all. But congrats to the Vikings. For the Niners, got to get back in, got to grind out. A calling card for the Niners is nobody really beats them strength on strength, grind on grind, grit on grit. Minnesota did yesterday. Minnesota did their thing. So big shout out to them. 49ers, see you next week. Got to play the Rams, divisional foe. I don't want to hear there's no looking ahead. There's no anything like that. You beat the team that's ahead of you. And we haven't beat Minnesota in Minnesota since 92. I'm 44. Haven't beat them since I was 12, right? Which is wild to think about. So we're talking about Young and Rice, Garcia and Owens, Colin Kaepernick and Crabtree. None of these guys were able to go into Minnesota and win. It just didn't happen. That's a lot. That's heavy. But it is what it is. That's how it went down. Congrats to the Vikings, Niners. Let's get to practice, watch some tape, be ready for next week. That's what sports is, right? Elsewhere around the league, there were some huge, I'm going to say huge scores and things that happen in games that I don't know if everybody really thought was going to happen. I know I did my picks yesterday for all the games, and I was certainly wrong with a fair amount of them. One of them was right here, Cowboys. I expected the Cowboys to have a much better showing against the Saints. Didn't really know if the Saints were for real because, to be honest, they haven't really looked like a hell of a team over the last couple of years. But they came out and they blew the doors off the Cowboys. 44-19. Hell of a game. Hell of a game by the Saints. Hell of a game by Carr. Carr to Shaheed is looking like something really special. Alvin Kamara, he's showing us he ain't old yet. Homie put up a 3-piece yesterday. Did his damn thing. Big shout out to Kamara. Going into Dallas, taking care of business. Really, really just unexpected outcome from a score standpoint. At any time, anyone could beat anyone. But I didn't expect the Cowboys with that defense to give up 44 points. That was like, wow. One game that I did talk about that was going to be close. I think I picked the Lions, but they lost. I'll say this about Tampa. Baker has them playing. Baker's out there playing, getting it done. It's not about going out and putting up 40 points. It's about getting a dub. And you walk right into the quote-unquote Lions den and snatch their hearts out. I saw a Lions fan yesterday. Lions fan was not happy. Not happy, very, very hurt. But just like with the Niners, this week too, team's still good. Time to regroup, get it together. It's not like Tampa's a slouch. Won their division last year. They're looking really good this year. When it comes to the whole their division, when it comes to the NFC South, let's see what happens. Let us see what happens, right? Saints, Bucks, looking like it could be something. Definitely looking like it could be something. Definitely have the worst team in the league in that division. We'll get to them in a minute. Other games, Packers, Colts. I predicted a Colts victory. Nothing told me that the Colts wouldn't win. Jordan Love's out. The Colts actually put up 27 last week against Houston and looked pretty good against CJ Stroud and the boys, and could not get it done yesterday. The Packers just held on, fought, and took home the dub. Congrats to the Packers. Big shout out. Hey, both of y'all, get ready for next week. Should be only a couple weeks till Jordan Love comes back. When that happens, you'll see a little bit of a boost to the Packers all the way around. And maybe we see them gain that form that everyone was talking about coming into this season. Time will tell on that one. Jets, Titans. Jets won 24-17. That one, very predictable. I thought it was going to be about a touchdown score, maybe a little more. Kind of saw that coming. I think for the Jets fans and team, it was just good to get that first victory with Rodgers. Kind of a sigh of relief. Tennessee looks like they're going to be on the bottom rung of teams. Will Levis, my boy, just take the sack sometimes. Just take the sack sometimes. I understand wanting to get it done, wanting not to mess up, but bruh, just take the sack. You know what I mean? That's all I got to say about that game, for real. Seahawks, Patriots. Seahawks, overtime by 3. I knew this one was going to be a close one. I did take Seattle for this one, so I was correct there. Nothing really jumps out, pops from this game. Charbonnet looked good. DK looked good. Geno looked good. Patriots, they didn't look bad. They looked decent. I mean, this one went to OT. Patriots, they continue to look better than I think any of us thought they would. Breathing a little life into that fan base, especially them understanding that their quarterback of the future is holding the clipboard right now and looked decent in the preseason. But Seattle went in there, got it done. They're playing the kind of the same style of Pete Carroll, let's grind it out and just win the game type game. I don't think that lasts. I still going to have them out of the playoffs. But yesterday they went and got it damn done. All right. Browns beat the Jaguars 18-13 in a very, very, very ugly game. No two ways about it. Neither one of these teams actually look good. Neither one of them look like a team that can contend for anything. But Browns come out of the game with the win, walk in 1-1, which in their division right now is actually pretty damn good. Jaguars, you're 0-2. And you're staring at the Colts. They're sitting there. They're also 0-2. But Houston's 2-0, and they're a dog. I'm telling you, they're rolling. They're looking really damn good. So if the Jaguars are planning on hopefully taking over this division, you got to start winning. You got to start winning. Browns, you got to keep winning, and you got to get better. Something about this Browns team, they just don't seem, I don't know, together for me. Whatever it is, they got to figure it out. They got to figure it out, or they're through. I'll just go ahead and say that. Raiders. This one was probably the biggest wow to me as a fan. Minnesota beating San Fran wasn't wow because it's been since I was 12 that they beat them in Minnesota. So that was more of a hope, and they're like, it happens, right? But the Las Vegas Raiders walk into Baltimore and get it done. They played a hell of a grit and grind game, and they just never gave up. So 2 things from that. The Raiders, we know with AP, the Raiders are going to play hard. They're going to give all they got. And that's really, really awesome to see. You want to see that action, right? But then on the other side of the ball, the Ravens are now marching in 0-2. That's not really a place you want to be. That division is tough money. It's real tough money. Let me look real quick and see who the Ravens have next, because I think that's a big. Oh, Ravens are at the Cowboys next. I'll tell you what, Ravens got to win that game. They have to. They can't come out to shoot 0-3. Not in that division. They haven't played division games yet. That's not an easy division. Them boys hit hard, and they keep getting after you. So let's see what happens. Big shout out to the Raiders walking in, beating the Ravens 26-23. Definitely unexpected, but hey, you go in, you do the job. That's what's up, right? Another unexpected turnout for a game was Cardinals Rams. Cardinals won 41-10. Now, a couple things happened in that game on the Rams side. Cooper Kupp went down with an injury, already missing Puka Nacua. Like, it really changed the landscape of their offense, but we'll move that to the side. Man, the Cardinals. I still don't believe in the Cardinals. I don't. Still don't. They're going to have to show me. But Marvin Harrison Jr. with 2 early tugs, especially after Kyler Murray was saying, this is not my job to force him the ball. Bro, it's your best receiver. You better force him the ball. Stop playing. Obviously, this guy hasn't played with top tier receivers. That'll tell you, Jack, get me the damn ball if you want to win. Well, he got him the ball, scored a couple tugs, and kept balling. I did not see this score coming out. Blew the absolute doors off of the Rams. Niners have the Rams coming up next. I don't see them getting healthier before this game, but it's a division game. You never know what's going to happen in a division game. But for yesterday, do you think Arizona? I see you. I see you. All right. Steelers Broncos. Steelers won. I saw this one coming. I knew the Steelers were going to win. I thought there was going to be more points. 13-6. I'm going to say overall, Steelers, I don't know. They just don't. They're not doing it for me. They're just not. They have an expectation every year, especially with Mike Tomlin, that they're going to be a nice, solid, sound, hard-hitting, hard-grinding, grimy team. Now, right now, they're 2-0. But if you look at both of those games, first game, all field goals. Yesterday, 13 points. If you're going to survive in that division, you got to do better than that. You've got to do better than that. Now, on the different side of the game, no one thought they were going to win. I mean, to be honest, that it was 13-6 is actually more of an indictment on the Steelers than a congratulation on the Broncos. Steelers should have beat the hell out of them. But, we know they do have a solid coach over there, a change of culture. Let's see what happens with Broncos country. Ain't no riding today, I'm going to tell you that. Chiefs Bengals. That was a real big one. That was a spicy one, real spicy one. So over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of chatter with the Bengals and Joe Burrow, and they went in there and they beat the Chiefs, and they changed the name, or some of the fans did. And then the mayor of Cincinnati had some stuff to say, and blah, blah, blah. Still ended up with the Bengals with no rings out of that whole thing, and Kansas City with 2. So, but Cincinnati went in there yesterday and played. I actually had a lot to say about Cincinnati because they just did not look like a good team. Yesterday they went in and played, and a couple things that did not go their way cost them the game. One of them was the penalty on Jamar Chase for whatever the hell he said to that ref. Bruh, can't do that. There's a line. When you hear the mic'd ups and you hear some of these older players talk about the game, there's a lot that you can say to a ref. There's a wide variety of things that you can say to a ref, right? There's some words that you can't. I'm not going to say any of them right now, but there's some words that you can't blurt out there when you're talking to a ref or direct them at a ref. Sometimes you can't direct them at another player. So if you're directing them at a ref and a ref throws that flag at you, I want to say nothing. Don't say nothing. Right now, Jamar Chase looks real tight and real pissed off. all the time. Hey, listen, at the end of the day, you chose to show up instead of sit out. I'm not going to discuss contract stuff, what you deserve and all that. Not my business. I hope you get the biggest contract in the history of receiver. It's not my money. You go out, you earn it, you do a hell of a job when you're out there. I hope you get that bread. But wrap your head around the fact that you decided, I'm going to show up, I'm going to practice, I'm going to play. So what you're doing effectively is you're putting everything on tape to tell that Bengals front office, pay me. I deserve it. See how great I am? None of these other dudes like me. I'm crushing. So we can't go out there and have not only this kind of mistake, but this kind of production. Let's step it up a little bit, Jamar. We know you can do it. We've seen you do it. I know it'll happen. Now, overall with the game, it just didn't fall out your way. Kansas City's Kansas City. There's always going to be talk of the refs helping Kansas City, which, as a Niner fan, I'm going to say Kansas City gets a little love there. There's not that many holding penalties called against them, all that. I digress. We can talk about that. I can talk about that for hours. But in this game yesterday, some of those things boil down to those old adages where people would say, we didn't lose the game in the fourth quarter. We lost it in the second quarter, in the third quarter. Not capitalizing off of mistakes, not completing passes, not making strong runs, not blocking well enough, not making that tackle, not being in proper coverage, not doing better on special teams. That's what the Bengals have to look at. Kansas City, they're going to play. If you give them a chance, they're going to beat you. We know that. We see that. Everyone sees that. So you got to come out, put the pedal to the metal, and keep pushing. Don't slow up. When you hit them curves, that's where you're doing Tokyo Drift. You're not slowing down. You're just skidding and you're going. That's how you beat the Chiefs. So none of this talk about refs and all of that. Stop. As a Niner fan, it wasn't about the refs. We should have done better. As a Bengals fan, don't say nothing about them refs. Team should have done better. Period. But Bengals did end up knocking that one out of the park, 26-25. There it is. Chiefs still being the Chiefs. All right. Texans, last game of the night. Texans at home opener against the Bears. 19-13, take home the dub. This was Caleb Williams' second game. He doesn't look sharp at all. There's no two ways about it. The guy that I saw in USC isn't the guy that I'm seeing right now. I'm not going to crush him for it. It's only his second game. I got to go back to a game I skipped. Just 2 games I skipped. But, I'm not going to crush this guy. They just don't look really sound as a team at the moment. Meanwhile, on the other side, Houston, they look sound as a team. They're reminding me right now, and only in these terms of the Kansas City, just from a win, however we need to win. Oh, you're playing great. I get it. I like it. Oh, you're putting our backs against the wall. Cool. We'll win when we need to, and then we'll walk away. Love to see what D'Amico Ryan's doing out there in Houston. They're doing their damn thing. I thought Houston was going to win by a little more. They did not. But hey, they're 2-0. Bears 0-2. 1-1. Feels like 0-2. They should have lost that damn Tennessee game. Bears 1-1. Got to get better. Got to look better. Just overall, just didn't. I don't know. They're not giving me anything, right? So the 2 games that I did skip on accident. Let's go over those. So you got the Washington Commanders and the New York Giants. Giants, they're awful. They're awful. Because they don't have anything to lean on. Like, at least the Commanders can say, we're trotting a rookie out there as quarterback. Giants, Daniel Jones, their whole thing, it just doesn't look good at all. Now, that being said, Washington beat them with 7 field goals. So if you get beat by a team, 7 field goals, no touchdowns, and you just can't punch it in enough, don't really got a lot to say about this game. It was just a game. All right. Last game I'm going to talk about. And I will talk a little bit about this one and some of the things I'm seeing. Right. So the LA Chargers go into Carolina and win 26-3 in a game that looked very Panthers looked outmatched. Chargers looked good. Justin Herbert was out there doing what he needed to do. J.K. Dobbins popped off. Man, listen, at the end of the day, the Panthers, they're horrible. They're the worst team in the league. Maybe one of the worst teams that I've ever seen in any sport, especially when you just throw in the last couple of years for the coaches changes. Once Dave Tepper took over the team, just some of the things that you just see, they just don't look like a smart team from the top, from the offices, and they don't look like a sound team on the field. Now I'll give them a small, very small bit of leeway on the field because this is their coach's first year coaching. Coaching them, Brian Canales. He was a coordinator. This is his first time out there as a head coach. This is only game 2. This was the worst team in the league last year. Can't really expect them to get that great this year, but they just don't look good. Bryce Young doesn't look good at all. There's sometimes some areas where he's forcing it. Some areas where he's just not reading properly. It's kind of like the game is going by him. Definitely want to see him play better, do better, succeed, and all of that. But I mean, you got to call it what it is. Call it what you see. That team's terrible, and he doesn't look like a number 1 pick. He just doesn't. Today they benched him for Andy Dalton. Did not see that coming after 2 games. But if it happens after 2 games, it means you're just not getting it done. Now, I've never played quarterback. I've never played in the NFL, so I don't know how you handle that, how you manage that, what you do. But you got to do something. Got to do something. You got to ensure next time you get on that field, you have a better game. Listen, your team is terrible. But as terrible as your team is, you could still play all right. We've seen that in the league. We've seen that a lot. Teams that may win 4 games, but you can look at their quarterback and say, all right, that dude's all right. I can't say that about Bryce right now. I can't say that about anybody on that team, to be honest with you. That's a piss poor team right now. Hopefully they get better. Because Carolina, I mean, they're cool. They ain't hurting nobody. And they really ain't hurting nobody right now. Hope they get better, but right now they're the bottom of the barrel. If I'm going to list maybe the top teams in the league and bottom teams in the league, tonight, Philly does play. Maybe they can sit up there in that top area. But right now in the league, if I'm just talking about right now, today, in no particular order, I'm going to say top 3 in the NFC, top 3 in the AFC. No particular order. NFC, I got to go with the Saints. I got to go with the Bucks. Philly with the asterisk. If Philly goes out there and wins tonight, I got to put them in that top 3. That's just what it is, right? In the AFC, Chiefs at the top. Then I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills have came out, and I'm not going to say that they've impressed, but they look damn good. They didn't impress week 1. But week 2, they came out and they absolutely rolled. Team that I may say I may put in that 3rd spot. 3rd spot's a little tough. I have to say Minnesota. You might have to. They are 2-0, including a victory against the defending NFC champ. A lot of these other teams are 1-1. I mean, might just have to be what it is for the moment. I don't know. I'm still on the AFC. My bad, y'all. I'm tripping. My mind's a little bit everywhere. Niners lost. I might be bugging a little bit. Chargers. Chargers 2 early victories. I'm actually looking like a really solid sound team. So if I'm going to look at the AFC, I'm going to say Chiefs, Bills, Chargers. In the NFC, I'm going to say Tampa, New Orleans, and I'm going to say Minnesota, but that could be asterisks a little bit. If Philly goes out and wins tonight, I'm going to put them there. To me, they're going to jump Minnesota, really, because Minnesota's first victory came against the Giants. If I'm measuring out opponents in all of that. Steelers are sitting over in the AFC. They're probably number 4 right now. They've been winning ugly, but if you go out and you win 15 ugly games and you're 15-2 and go into the playoffs, what are you gonna do? Tonight, Monday Night Football rounds out week 2. We got the Falcons at the Eagles. It's going to be a real interesting game. A lot of people have been making noise about Kirk Cousins and his stance in the pistol and how he's moving. Is he really healthy? Well, we're going to see, because Philly's going to pin their ears back and they're going to come get him. I really want to see what they do with Bijan Robinson. Do they use him correctly? Are they using him in a solid way? Those are things we don't know. Also, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. Let's see what happens with Atlanta. We know on the Philly side of the ball, AJ Brown is out. That does change the dynamic a little bit. Now Devontae is going to be kind of the one. You move Jahan Dotson. That could be a real, interesting game. But now that Saquon's back there, it just balances. Because you lose somebody, you still got Saquon. We'll see how that game goes. That should be a real fun one for tonight, right? So coming up, we'll talk about tonight's game on our next cast, and then I also want to check in a little bit with the WNBA. I know Asia Wilson broke a record. Caitlin Clark's breaking records all over the place. Playoffs are getting close for them. A lot of things are ramping up. Baseball world, playoffs is around the corner. We're in the middle of September. Playoffs start in a couple weeks. Definitely got to do a rundown on the playoffs. What I think, a lot of them are just going to be guesses, not that educated, but I will guess because, hey, if my guesses run the table, that's what's up, right? So looking forward to the upcoming days in sports. Looking forward to next week. College football is about to get crazy with the realignment, with some of these matchups coming up. I know this Saturday, USC Michigan, which isn't normal, that's happening. I'm here for it. Actually, I'm gonna be tuned in. Probably zeked up pretty much, like feeling great. You know what I mean? That being said, man, y'all have a great rest of your day, rest of your night, rest of whatever you're doing. Have fun, be good at it. Until next time, I'm Damon Anthony, and this is Emphasis on Sports.